Southern Cape we go now, and the Tourism Minister Derek Hanekom is scheduled to hold a briefing in Knysna this hour as wildfires continue to rage. The fires have devastated areas in and around George and Knysna, and very much a reprise of what we saw in June last year. 8 people, 2 women and 6 children have died. And let's go now to eNCA reporter Leigh-Anne Jansen. Leigh-Anne, good afternoon to you. I hope the line is clear because we've had signal difficulties today. Before we talk about the briefing and the impact, what's the position as far as the blazes are concerned, given that I can see the fairly heavy wind behind you?
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Well, I hope that the signal sticks as well. We've had loads of trouble this morning. Well, as you can see behind me, there are clouds of smoke as firefighters continue to try and bring this fire under control. It's really a pity that I cannot show you where we've just come from because there was no signal. We've just come from the site in Farley where 7 of the 8 people who died had lived. It's completely razed. There are 3 cars that are burnt completely. The structures are completely razed to the ground as well. We spoke to Sandpark spokesperson Janine Raftopoulos, who said that it's a really sad day for them because these were Sandpark staff members and retired staff members, all from one family, who had perished in this fire. As for the fire itself, almost 600 firefighters on the ground are battling this fire. There are also aerial crews who have joined to try and douse the flames. We did see 2 helicopters earlier. They're gone now. But as you said earlier as well, Derek Hanekom, the Tourism Minister, is scheduled to hold a media briefing now, actually. We weren't able to make it because it's... Oh, sorry, the dust just went into my eye. It's in George, which is about an hour away from where we are right now. But we are scheduled to meet up with the Minister later today.
Could you just give us a geographical sense, if we can? We know that the fires were prominently situated in the Otanikwa area. Are you saying they're now moving further north? Are parts of the southern regions of Knysna starting to be encroached upon?
So the fire started about a week ago in the Otanikwa mountain pass in George. It then moved east towards Knysna, and that's where we are now in Farley and Karatara as well. That we were at a community hall earlier where several residents are being housed, residents who were evacuated from their homes overnight and in recent days. So as far as authorities are, they're trying to contain the fire to where we are right now, to the east of George. But with the strong winds, it's unlikely that firefighters will actually get it under control. The wind is absolutely unbearable. My eyes are tearing. The smell of smoke is heavy in the air. But we're waiting also to get an update from authorities as to whether or not the fire is under control or contained at this stage, or whether it's still raging out of control, and in which direction.
And that promised rain that we were reporting about yesterday doesn't really seem to have helped.
Well, when I left Cape Town in the early hours this morning, it was pouring. When we got here, there was absolutely no rain. The other media crew had told me that it was drizzling this morning and overnight, but the expected rain for the George Knysna area hasn't come. It doesn't look like it's going to come either. It's partly cloudy right now, but there's more smoke in the air than clouds.
We were also referring to evacuations both in George and in parts of Knysna. What do we know about that?
So there were several evacuations this morning. About 600 people were evacuated from Reenendal, just a few kilometers from where we are, also outside Knysna. So those are where we stand at the moment with evacuations. We haven't heard of any other evacuations other than Reenendal this morning.
And this must be fairly horrific for people in Knysna who experienced exactly the same thing in June last year.
I'm sure the energy in Knysna is at a knife's edge because, like you just said, they've just come out of a fire that devastated large parts of Knysna last year. And I'm sure they're hoping and praying that that doesn't happen this time around. And also I'm sure that firefighters are trying their darndest to make sure that that doesn't happen again.
Leigh-Anne Jansen, thank you very much indeed. We'll check